Another very nice interaction with Srila Prabhupada was when George Harrison of the English pop group, the Beatles, was visiting Vrindavan with another musical maestro, very world-renowned sitarist, Ravi Shankar. And they were together in Loy Bazaar. And at that time we were having, it was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's disappearance day, and we were having a very strong, very nice kirtan in Srila Prabhupada's house. We'd kind of moved furniture and created quite a lot of space in the main room. And because at that time Srila Prabhupada's bed wasn't in that area. So we had quite a big area. So there was a lot of the big guns, or what we called the big guns in those days. There was Achyutananda Swami, there was Gagamuni Swami, there was Tamal Krishna Goswami, Guru Kripa Maharaj was there, Yasodanandan Swami, and of course Guru Das and Yamuna. They were resident here in Vrindavan, and myself and some other brahmacharis. And Guru Das came into the room, he opened the door and he came rushing in and he said, Srila Prabhupada, George is in Vrindavan, George Harrison is here, Srila Prabhupada, with Ravi Shankar, and they're down at Loy Bazaar. Should I go and bring them to you so they can have your darshan? And Srila Prabhupada nodded, and his eyes were really like saucers, and he was very pleased. Yes, you bring them straight away, you know. I very much like to see George. So Guru Das ran out, and I would say within about 40 minutes he was back with both George Harrison and Ravi Shankar. So they entered into the room, and we had just finished kirtan, and everyone was supercharged up, you know. And they entered the room, and George Harrison, he looked very regal. He had very long black hair with a grown-out beard and moustache, and he had this very nice tweed sports jacket. And he had these very nice white yogi pants with a very big white bead bag around his neck, with his hand in there, in the bead bag, and he was chanting. And he just walked into the room, and as soon as Srila Prabhupada saw George Harrison, he beamed. His smile was so wide and showing all his teeth. Prabhupada welcomed George Harrison like a father meeting his son. It was very warm and welcoming. And then Ravi Shankar was following behind George Harrison. So they both sat down. Now this was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's disappearance day. So we were expecting Srila Prabhupada to talk about his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. But instead, he put that aside and he started talking to George Harrison and Ravi Shankar. And basically, it was a conversation around the analytical study of Sankhya philosophy in the second chapter of Bhagavad-Gita, about the difference between spirit and matter and the controller of both. So, some way through the conversation, Srila Prabhupada, one of the highlights of the conversation was when Srila Prabhupada asked George Harrison, he said, so now you are George Harrison, you are a member of a famous rock band or a musical band. I don't know how Prabhupada expressed that, I can't remember. But he says, you are famous throughout the world. So, but he said, but how long will you be George Harrison? So he says, while you are George Harrison, while you're in that body, you should be, as much as possible, talking about Krishna consciousness. And then he turned to Ravi Shankar, and he also said to Ravi Shankar, and how long will you be Ravi Shankar? He said, so again, you are world famous through your music. So I request you to kindly preach about Krishna consciousness to all your admirers and fans all over the world. So, like this, Srila Prabhupada was talking very simply but very directly to the two guests. Then, after some time, it was over, and all these sannyasis, all these big guns of Srila Prabhupada, were sitting there, and they were looking at George Harrison and Ravi Shankar. And all of a sudden, Yamuna came from the kitchen, this kitchen here, and she came into Srila Prabhupada. And Yamuna had a very nice relationship with George Harrison because they made that famous Radha Krishna temple album in London. It went right up to the very top of the charts. It was a very popular music that the devotees had joined together with George to make. So as soon as they saw one another in the room, George ran across the room. He was right by the door, and he ran right across, and he picked up Yamuna, and he hugged her, and he was just moving back and forth like this, and he gave her a big kiss on the cheek. And all the sannyasis, it was so funny because all the sannyasis were watching this unfold, this Leela unfolding. And they had all these like big expressions on their face, serious, with their dandas. And I just thought it was a real moment to capture, that moment of seeing George so bright-eyed and so spontaneously running across the room to give Yamuna a big hug. It was very nice. And then watching the reactions of all the sannyasis. So that was wonderful. So these things, these moments of lived experience with Srila Prabhupada is why we take that relationship with Prabhupada in the physical sense, this Vapu association, very seriously, because it produces incredible memories which we're sharing right now, and they're wonderful.